Hello, my wonderful students. Welcome back to English Mastery Hub. I'm Logan, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. I hope you are feeling excited and ready to learn. Today's lesson is very special. It can really change the way you learn English forever. Have you ever thought about why some people learn English fast, but others take many years? The answer is simple. Good learners know some easy secrets. These secrets help them learn better and faster. Many teachers do not tell these secrets, but today I will share them with you. I will show you one secret at a time. These tips will help you learn faster. They will also make learning English more fun and easy. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to English Mastery Hub. Also, like this video and click the bell button. This way, you will always know when a new lesson is ready for you. All right? Are you ready? Let's begin. When I first started learning English, I had a big dream. I wanted to speak English easily. I wanted to understand movies, talk to people from other countries, and feel confident. I thought my teacher would make this happen. I believed that if I went to class and did my homework, one day I would just wake up and be fluent. I trusted that my teacher had some magic. I thought she would teach me some special lessons, and I would speak English like a native speaker. So I went to every class. I sat in the front. I listened carefully. I finished all my homework. I read my textbooks. I memorized the vocabulary. I followed every rule, and still, something was missing. I could not speak easily. I could not understand fast conversations. I still felt shy. I still felt slow when thinking in English. I felt confused. I asked myself, why am I not fluent yet? I am doing everything my teacher told me. Then one day, I learned something very important. It changed my learning journey forever. I realized that my teacher could not make me fluent. No teacher in the world can do that. A teacher can guide you. A teacher can show you the way. A teacher can give you tools. But the work, the real magic, must come from you. Only you can make yourself fluent. Only you can decide to practice more. Only you can choose to push yourself every day. Your teacher is like a map, but you are the traveler. You must walk the road yourself. When I understood this, everything changed. I stopped waiting for fluency. I started working for it. I stopped thinking my teacher was responsible. I became responsible. I decided that every day I would do something extra. I would not just listen in class. I would also live with English outside of the classroom. In real life, English is not slow and simple like textbooks. In the real world, English is fast. People speak with different accents. They use slang, they make jokes, they speak quickly, and they do not always use perfect grammar. At first, it can be very confusing. You might feel lost. You might understand only a few words. But that is okay. That is normal. That is how you start. The secret is not studying more grammar rules. The secret is not memorizing long vocabulary lists. The secret is simple. You must expose yourself to real English every day. Exposure means seeing and hearing real English often. It means making English part of your daily life. One easy way is to watch movies in English. Choose movies that you like. It can be action movies, romantic movies, cartoons, anything you enjoy. At first, you can use subtitles in your language. Then, try using English subtitles. After some time, try watching without subtitles. Listen carefully. Try to catch words and phrases. Do not worry if you do not understand everything. Your brain is learning even when you do not notice. Another great way is to listen to podcasts. There are many podcasts made for English learners. Some podcasts speak slowly and clearly. Others are fast and natural. You can start with easy podcasts and slowly move to harder ones. You can listen while walking, cooking, or even before sleeping. Listening every day will train your ears. You will get used to the sound of English. You will start to understand faster. Also, pay attention to conversations around you. If you live in a place where people speak English, listen to people talking at the store, in the park, or on the bus. If you do not live in an English-speaking country, you can watch YouTube videos of real conversations. Try to notice how people greet each other, how they ask questions, how they make small talk. Real English is full of small expressions and natural sounds that you can only learn by hearing them many times. At first, you will not understand everything. That is okay. Learning a language is like learning to swim. At first, you feel scared in the water. You feel like you cannot move. But if you keep trying, little by little, you get better. You must trust the process. You must stay patient. Every day you expose yourself to English, you are getting stronger. You are building your English brain. Some days you will feel like you are not improving. That is normal. Improvement is slow at first. You cannot see it every day. But after a few months, you will notice something amazing. You will understand words you never studied. You will feel more comfortable when listening. You will be able to answer simple questions without thinking so much. That is the magic of real exposure. Your brain starts to think in English naturally. Also, remember, making mistakes is part of the journey. When you watch movies, listen to podcasts, or try to speak, you will make mistakes. That is good. Mistakes mean you are trying. Mistakes mean you are learning. Never feel bad about mistakes. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. What matters is that you keep going. So, the truth is, your teacher can give you lessons. Your teacher can encourage you. Your teacher can explain grammar. But your teacher cannot live your English journey for you. You must live it. You must make English your friend. You must make English part of your world. Find things you love in English. Listen to songs you like. Watch funny shows. Read simple books. Write small notes to yourself in English. Talk to yourself in English. Describe your day in English. Even thinking in English helps. Every small step adds up. Remember, fluency is not magic. Fluency is a habit. It is a daily practice. It is a choice you make again and again. Choose to spend time with English every day. Choose to enjoy it. Choose to be patient with yourself. Choose to believe in yourself. And one day, without even realizing it, you will be fluent. You will watch a movie and understand the jokes. You will meet someone from another country and have a real conversation. You will feel proud. You will smile and remember it was not magic. It was you. You made it happen. So, my dear student, if you remember only one thing today, remember this. Your teacher can show you the path, but you must walk it. Your teacher can give you the key, but you must open the door. Your teacher can give you advice, but you must take action. You have the power. You are the one who will make your dream real. Start today. Take one small step. Watch something in English. Listen to something new. Practice a little. And tomorrow, take another step. Keep going. Your English fluency is waiting for you, and I believe you can reach it. When I was learning English, there was a time when I felt very stuck. I could not move forward. I could not speak easily. I could not enjoy learning. I was trying so hard, but everything felt difficult. I asked myself, What is wrong? Why am I not getting better? Then I understood the problem. I was too focused on grammar. Every time I tried to speak, I thought about all the grammar rules. I wanted every sentence to be perfect. I wanted every word to be correct. I wanted to sound like a book. Before I opened my mouth, I was building the sentence inside my head. I was thinking about the subject, the verb, the object, the tenses, the prepositions. I was checking everything like a grammar teacher. It made me very slow. It made me very nervous. Sometimes I could not even finish a simple sentence. I was so afraid of making a mistake that I stayed quiet. I realized that this was not helping me. It is making me feel scared of English. One day, I listened to two native English speakers talking. They were just chatting in a coffee shop. I listened carefully. And guess what? They made grammar mistakes. Real grammar mistakes. They said things like, "She don't know" instead of "she doesn't know." Or, "I seen him yesterday" instead of "I saw him yesterday." At first I was surprised. I thought, but they are native speakers. How can they make mistakes? Then I smiled. I understood something very important. Native speakers care more about communication than perfect grammar. They focus on the meaning, not the rules. That moment changed my thinking. I decided that I did not need to be perfect. I did not need to worry about every little rule. I needed to focus on using English naturally. I needed to practice speaking freely. I needed to make English a tool, not a test. Of course, grammar is still important. I am not saying you should forget it forever. Grammar helps you be clear. Grammar helps you be professional. Grammar helps you understand others. But when you are speaking, you should not think about grammar rules all the time. You should focus on your ideas. You should focus on connecting with people. You should focus on expressing yourself. So I changed my way of learning grammar. Instead of memorizing boring rules, I started learning grammar in context. What does that mean? It means learning grammar naturally, through real conversations, real stories, real examples. I stopped reading big grammar books. I stopped trying to memorize long lists of rules. I started listening more. I started reading simple stories. I started noticing how people really speak. For example, instead of studying a long explanation of the past tense, I listened to people tell stories about their day. I heard sentences like, "I went to the store," "I saw my friend," "we ate pizza." I listened again and again. After some time, my brain started to understand the pattern. I did not need to remember a rule. I just knew it by feeling. It became natural. Another thing I did was watching TV shows and movies in English. I paid attention to how people talked. I noticed how they used tenses, prepositions, and questions. I learned phrases like, "What are you up to?" and "How's it going?" from real conversations, not from grammar books. I started copying these phrases. I started using them myself. It made my English sound more real. It made me feel more confident. Sometimes, I would still check grammar rules when I was curious. For example, if I heard a new structure and did not understand it, I would look it up. But I did not spend hours memorizing. I only checked when it was necessary. The focus was always on understanding through use, not memorizing for a test. I also started talking to myself in English. When I was alone, I described what I was doing. "I am making tea." "I will go for a walk." "I watched a movie yesterday." I practiced small sentences every day. I did not worry about making mistakes. I just practiced. And slowly, my speaking became faster. My thinking in English became quicker. I was no longer stuck thinking about grammar every second. This new way of learning made me love English more. It became fun. It became part of my life. I stopped being afraid. I started enjoying the process. And because I enjoyed it, I improved much faster. You see, language is for communication. Language is for sharing ideas, emotions, and stories. When you focus only on grammar, you lose the beauty of communication. You become a machine checking for mistakes. But when you focus on connection, you become a real speaker. You become someone who can share their thoughts and feelings with the world. I want you to remember this. Small mistakes are not a problem. Big mistakes are not a problem. Staying silent is the only real problem. Speak with mistakes. Speak with courage. Speak with a happy heart. Every time you speak, you are getting better. Every time you try, you are learning something new. And remember, you will naturally get better at grammar with time. The more you listen, the more you read, the more you speak, the more correct your English will become. Your brain is smart. It learns patterns without you even noticing. Just like children learn their first language by hearing and copying, you can do the same. So if you are feeling stuck right now because of grammar, I understand you. I was there too. But I want you to relax. Take a deep breath. Let go of the fear of mistakes. Focus on understanding and expressing. Focus on communication first. Grammar will follow naturally. Today, after many years, I still make small grammar mistakes sometimes. And it is okay. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. The goal is connection. The goal is confidence. So, my dear student, be kind to yourself. Practice English every day. Listen to real conversations. Read simple stories. Talk to yourself. Talk to others. Make mistakes with a smile. Keep going. Your English will grow strong. You will become fluent. You will reach your dream. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Every small effort you make is building your future fluency. Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward. You are on the right path. When I first started learning English, I often learned new words. Every day I found new words in my books, in my lessons, and on TV. I felt happy when I found a new word. I thought, great. Now I know more English. But the next day, when I tried to remember the new word, it was gone. I forgot it. It disappeared from my mind. I felt sad. I asked myself, why do I forget so fast? I studied the word. I looked at it. I repeated it. But now, it is lost. This happened not just one time, but many times. I kept forgetting new words. It made me feel frustrated. It made me think that maybe I was not good at learning languages. But then, I learned something very important. The brain does not keep information that it does not use. If you learn a word and never use it, your brain thinks, this word is not important. Let's throw it away. Our brain is very smart. It always tries to save space. If something is not useful, the brain removes it. If you want your brain to keep new words, you must show your brain that the word is important. You must use the word. You must play with the word. You must make the word part of your life. When I understood this, I changed the way I learned vocabulary. I made a new rule for myself. When I learn a new word, I must use it immediately. I did not wait for tomorrow. I did not wait for next week. I used the word the same day. Sometimes I used the word many times on the same day. This simple habit changed everything. It helped me remember words much faster. It made my vocabulary bigger and stronger. How did I use new words? I had a few easy ways. First, I spoke the word out loud. Even if I was alone, I said the word. I made a small sentence with the word. For example, if I learned the word excited, I said, I am excited to learn English today. If I learned the word beautiful, I said, the sky is beautiful tonight. Speaking the word helped my mouth and brain remember it. Second, I wrote the word in a small notebook. I kept a simple journal. Every day I wrote a few sentences using the new words I learned. I did not write big, difficult stories. I just wrote small things about my day. For example, today was a busy day. I visited my friend. We had a wonderful lunch together. Writing the word helped me see the word again and again. It made the memory stronger. Third, I used the word while talking to myself. When I was walking, when I was cooking, when I was cleaning, I talked to myself in English. I described what I was doing. I tried to use the new words I learned. If I learned the word prepare, I would say, I am preparing lunch now. If I learned the word interesting, I would say, this book is very interesting. Talking to myself helped me practice English every day, even when I had no one to talk to. These small actions made a big difference. They were simple, but they worked. Every time I used a new word, my brain understood, this word is important. I will keep it. After a few days, the word became part of my speaking. It became natural. I did not need to think about it anymore. It stayed in my brain like an old friend. Another thing I learned was to connect new words to my real life. If I learned the word challenge, I thought about the challenges in my own life. Maybe learning English was a challenge. Maybe waking up early was a challenge. By connecting the word to my real experience, the word became more meaningful. It became part of my story. It was no longer just a word from a book. It was a word from my life. Sometimes, I also made funny sentences or silly stories with new words. I used my imagination. If I learned the word giant, I imagined a giant cat sleeping on my bed. Making funny pictures in my mind helped me remember words better. It made learning fun and creative. Another tip that helped me was repeating the new words over several days. Learning a word once is not enough. The brain needs to see the word many times, so every few days I looked at my notebook. I read my sentences again. I tried to use the old words again in new ways. Repetition is the mother of memory. The more you see and use a word, the stronger it stays in your brain. I also tried to learn words in groups. Instead of learning one random word, I learned groups of words that go together. For example, if I learned delicious, I also learned meal, taste, restaurant, and cook. These words belong to the same topic, food. When I thought about food, all the words came together. It was easier to remember because the words were friends. They helped each other stay in my memory. Sometimes, I played small games with myself. I looked around my room and tried to name everything in English. I looked at my chair, my table, my window, my books. If I forgot a word, I wrote it down and learned it. If I learned a new adjective like comfortable, I used it to describe my chair. My chair is very comfortable. Small games like this made learning active. It was not boring. It was like an adventure. Using technology also helped me. I used apps on my phone to review words. Some apps have flashcards. You see a word and try to remember its meaning. Then you check if you were right. These quick reviews helped me remember words in a fun way. But remember, using an app is not enough. You must still use the words in real sentences, in your real life. One very important thing is this: do not try to learn too many words at once. If you learn 20 new words in one day, you will forget most of them. It is better to learn 3 to 5 words and use them very well. Quality is better than quantity. When you really know 3 new words, they stay with you forever. When you try to memorize 20 words without using them, they disappear very quickly. Be patient with yourself. Learning and remembering takes time. Sometimes you will forget a word. That is normal. Just review it again. Use it again. Do not feel bad. The brain needs time to build strong memories. Step by step, word by word, you are growing your English. So, my dear student, remember this simple rule. When you learn a new word, use it immediately. Speak it, write it, think about it, connect it to your life, play with it, review it, make it your friend. When you use a word again and again, it becomes part of you. Every small step you take is bringing you closer to fluency. Every word you save in your brain is a new tool you can use in your life. Believe in yourself. You are learning. You are growing. You are doing an amazing job. Keep going and never give up. When I started learning English, I loved reading. I bought many English books. I spent hours reading stories, textbooks, and articles. I thought reading would make me fluent. I believed that if I read a lot, I would understand English perfectly. I worked very hard. Every day I read and read. But one day, I decided to watch an English movie. I was very excited. I thought, I have read so much. Now I will understand everything. But when the movie started, I was shocked. I could not understand most of the words. The actors spoke so fast. Their pronunciation was different from the words I read. Some words were connected together. Some words sounded very different from how they looked in my books. I felt lost. I felt confused. I asked myself, why can I read, but I cannot understand when people talk? That day, I learned something very important. I learned that listening is different from reading. Listening is much faster. In real life, people do not speak like a book. They use real emotions. They use real sounds. They use different accents. They speak naturally, not slowly and carefully like a book. That's when I realized a powerful truth. Listening is the real key to fluency. Think about how babies learn. Babies do not start by reading books. They do not start by writing essays. Babies listen. Every day they listen to their parents. They listen to songs. They listen to the world around them. For many months, babies just listen. They do not speak at first. They only watch, listen, and understand. Later, when their brain is ready, they start speaking. First, they say small words, then small sentences. Slowly, they become very good speakers. All of this happens before they ever read a single word. When I understood this, I changed my learning style. I decided to copy the babies. I decided to listen more and more. I made listening my first priority. Reading was still important, but listening became my main focus. I started listening to English every day. I listened while cooking. I listened while cleaning. I listened while walking. I listened while resting. English was always in my ears. I did not sit and study grammar rules all day. Instead, I let English come to me naturally, like music. At first, it was difficult. Sometimes I could not understand everything. Sometimes I missed words. Sometimes I felt tired. But I kept going. I told myself, it's okay if you don't understand everything. Just listen, relax, enjoy the sounds. I listened to English podcasts. I watched English movies and TV shows. I listened to English songs. I watched English YouTube videos. Sometimes I even listened to easy English audiobooks. I chose topics that I liked. I chose voices that were clear and easy to understand. I made listening fun, not stressful. Over time, something amazing happened. My ears started to understand more. I began to hear words clearly. I started to recognize common phrases. I noticed how native speakers connected words. I noticed their rhythm, their tone, their real pronunciation. Soon, my speaking also improved. Because when you listen a lot, you start to speak naturally. You start to copy the way native speakers talk. You do not think too much about grammar. You do not translate in your head. Speaking becomes more automatic. For example, before I always thought, how do I say this sentence? What is the correct grammar? It made me slow. But after lots of listening, sentences just came out of my mouth. I did not have to think so much. My speaking became smoother. My confidence grew. Listening every day also helped my pronunciation. I heard how real English sounds. I noticed small sounds that books cannot teach you. I heard how going to becomes gonna in fast speech. I heard how want to becomes wanna. I learned real English, not just textbook English. Another benefit of listening was that I learned new words naturally. When I read books, sometimes I had to stop and check the dictionary. It was slow and boring. But when I listened to English, I learned words in real sentences. I heard words again and again in different situations. My brain understood the meaning from the story or the conversation. I did not need to memorize long lists of words. I learned them naturally, like a child. I also learned that it's good to listen to the same thing many times. Repetition is very powerful. If you listen to the same podcast 3 or 4 times, you will understand it better. Your brain will catch new details each time. You will remember the words and the sounds better. Do not be afraid to repeat. It is not boring. It is smart learning. At the beginning, I chose easy English. I listened to beginner podcasts and slow English conversations. As my listening skills grew, I moved to more natural English. I listened to interviews, real conversations, and fast dialogues. I improved step by step. I also tried something fun. I shadowed the speakers. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and then try to repeat it immediately. You copy the pronunciation, the rhythm, and the emotion. It is like being an actor. It helped my speaking sound more natural. Sometimes, I closed my eyes and just listened. I tried to imagine the story in my mind. This made my brain work harder. It made my understanding deeper. I was not just hearing words, I was feeling the language. One important thing I learned was to relax while listening. In the beginning, I was very serious. I tried too hard to understand every word. This made me tired. Later, I learned to relax. I listened like I listened to music. I focused on the general meaning, not every small word. This made listening easier and more fun. Today, I am very grateful that I changed my learning style. Listening every day gave me real English. It gave me confidence. It gave me fluency. Reading is still good. Reading builds vocabulary and grammar knowledge. But listening builds understanding, speaking, and real communication skills. If you want to become fluent in English, listen every day. Make English a part of your life. Listen while you are doing other things. Listen when you are walking. Listen when you are relaxing. Make it easy and natural. Enjoy the sounds. Trust the process. Remember, babies listen first and speak later. You can do the same. Your brain is smart. It will learn. if you give it enough listening practice. Be patient. Be consistent. Little by little, you will understand more. Little by little, you will speak better. Listening is the real bridge to English fluency. You are doing a great job by learning English. Keep listening, keep smiling, keep growing. English will become a part of your life, and one day, you will speak it easily and naturally. When I was in school, teachers always told us to repeat. They said, "Write this word 100 times. Memorize this sentence again and again." So I followed their advice. I wrote words again and again. I repeated grammar rules many times. But honestly, it was very boring. I did not enjoy it, and even after all that work, I forgot many things after some time. I thought, maybe repetition does not work for me. I felt a little sad. I wanted to learn English, but this kind of repetition made me tired and unhappy. It felt like hard work with little reward. I knew I needed a better way. Later, I discovered something different. I learned about smart repetition. Smart repetition is not about writing something 100 times in one day. It is about reviewing the same thing many times, but with time between each review. This method is called spaced repetition. For example, if I learn a new word today, I do not repeat it 100 times right now. Instead, I review it tomorrow. Then, I review it again in 3 days, then again in 1 week, then again in 2 weeks. Each time the space between reviews becomes a little bigger. This gives my brain time to forget a little bit, and then remember again. Remembering after some time makes the memory stronger. It is like building muscles. Each time you lift the weight, your muscle gets stronger. Each time you remember the word, your memory gets stronger. When I used spaced repetition, I felt a big difference. I did not feel tired. I did not feel bored. Learning became easier and more fun. I remembered new words for a long time. I did not need to write them 100 times. I just needed to review them smartly. Another thing that helped me a lot was repeating listening materials. Instead of always looking for new movies, new podcasts, or new audiobooks, I started listening to the same English story many times. The first time I listened, I understood only a little bit, maybe just 30% or 40%. Some words were very fast, some sentences were difficult, but I did not stop. I listened again. The second time, I understood a little more, maybe 50%. I caught new words that I missed the first time. My brain was getting used to the sounds. Then I listened a third time. This time, the story felt easier. I knew what would happen, so my brain could focus on the words. I noticed small details. I noticed how the speaker used intonation and emotions. I noticed the rhythm of English. I was not just hearing words, I was feeling the language. Each time I repeated the story, my understanding became deeper. It was like peeling an onion. Every time, I found a new layer. I learned not just vocabulary, but real pronunciation, real expressions, and real rhythm. At first, I thought repeating would be boring, but it was not boring at all. It was exciting. It felt good to understand more each time. It gave me confidence. It showed me that my English was improving, step by step. Repetition became my secret weapon. It was not boring school repetition. It was living repetition. It was active and powerful. It made me feel strong in English. Another important thing was that I chose materials that I liked. I did not force myself to repeat something boring. I chose fun stories. I chose interesting podcasts. I listened to songs I loved. Because when you love the material, repetition feels natural. You want to listen again because you enjoy it. Sometimes, I even repeated small conversations. I picked a short conversation from a movie, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes long. I listened many times. I shadowed the speakers. I repeated the sentences after them. I copied their pronunciation and feeling. After a few days, that conversation became part of me. I could say it naturally without thinking. This kind of repetition made my speaking faster. It made my listening sharper. It made my confidence higher. It made English feel more natural, not like a subject in school. I also repeated writing, but not like in school. I did not write the same word 100 times. Instead, I used new words in my own sentences. I wrote short paragraphs about my day. I wrote about my dreams. I wrote messages to myself. Every time I used the new word in a real sentence, I remembered it better. For example, if I learned the word excited, I did not just repeat excited, excited, excited 100 times. Instead, I wrote, I am excited about my English journey. I am excited to meet new friends. I feel excited when I learn new things. In this way, I practiced the word naturally, and my brain saved it easily. Repetition also helped me in speaking. I practiced saying the same sentences many times. If I wanted to say, "Can you help me, please?" I practiced it many times. At first I was slow, but after practicing, the sentence became automatic. It came out easily, without thinking. Repeating small things many times gave me big results. It made my English stronger, day by day. Another good thing was that I did not have to study for long hours. I only needed to review a little every day. Maybe 10 minutes of reviewing old words, maybe 15 minutes of repeating a story. Small daily repetition was enough. It kept my brain active without feeling tired. The most important thing I learned is repetition should be fun, not painful. It should be active, not passive. You should feel happy when you repeat. You should feel like you are getting better every time. If you feel bored, change the material. Find something you enjoy. If you feel tired, take a small break. Come back later with fresh energy. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Enjoy the road. Today, I still use repetition in my English practice. Even now, when I learn a new word or hear a new phrase, I repeat it many times over days and weeks. I listen again, I speak again, I write again. Every time, I feel stronger. Repetition is not just for beginners, it is for everyone. It is the key to deep learning. It helps you master English in a natural and powerful way. So remember, smart repetition is your friend. Review a little today. Review again tomorrow. Review again next week. Listen to your favorite English stories many times. Repeat sentences until they feel natural. Step by step, your English will become stronger. Your words will come faster. Your understanding will become deeper. Your confidence will grow. You are not just learning English. You are building a part of yourself. Be patient. Be smart. Enjoy the repetition, and watch yourself become a fluent English speaker. You are doing a great job. Keep going. Keep repeating. Keep shining. When I started learning English, one of the biggest worries I had was, I don't have anyone to practice with. I thought I needed a partner to speak English and improve. Maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you think that you need a teacher or a friend to practice with. But guess what? You do not need a partner to practice speaking English. I know it sounds strange, but it's true. You can practice speaking all by yourself. And when I learned this, everything changed for me. I became more confident and fluent. I will tell you how I did it. The first thing I started doing was something called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to someone speak English and then repeating what they say right away. I would listen to a sentence in a movie or a podcast and then immediately repeat it. I didn't wait. I just said it out loud. At first it was a little hard. The sentences were fast and the words were new, but I kept going. Slowly, my mouth and my brain started getting used to the words. I felt like I was talking with the speaker, even though no one was there. This helped me speak more clearly and quickly. It helped me remember new words too. Every time I repeated something, it became easier. My brain started remembering faster, and I started speaking more confidently. I also practiced talking to myself. It may sound funny, but it works. I would talk to myself while I was cooking, walking, or even cleaning. I would describe what I was doing, say what I saw, or tell myself about my day. For example, I would say, "I am cutting vegetables now. I need to add some salt. I am making a delicious soup." I kept it simple, but it helped me practice speaking. It made me feel like I was really using English, not just learning it. I know it might sound strange at first, but talking to yourself is a great way to get used to speaking English. You are practicing your pronunciation, your sentence structure, and your vocabulary. You are using the language in real situations, and that makes your English stronger. Another thing I did was practice storytelling. Storytelling is a great way to practice speaking because it helps you organize your thoughts and use new vocabulary. I would pick a topic and then speak about it for 1 minute. For example, I would talk about my favorite movie or a place I want to visit. I would speak for 1 minute without stopping. At first, it was hard. I didn't know what to say or how to continue, but I kept practicing. The next time I did it, I added more details. I would talk for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I would describe things in more detail. If I was talking about a movie, I would explain the plot, the characters, and why I liked it. If I was talking about a place, I would describe the weather, the food, and the people there. This helped me speak more naturally. It helped me think in English, and it helped me practice using different tenses and vocabulary. You don't need a partner to practice storytelling. You could do it alone. You just need to choose a topic and start speaking. At first, it might be hard, but keep going. You will see improvement every day. Another activity that helped me practice was repeating questions. I would ask myself simple questions and then answer them. For example, I would ask, "What did I do today?" Then I would answer, "I woke up at 7 a.m. I had breakfast with my family. I went to work." It sounds simple, but it is a great way to practice forming sentences. It is also a good way to practice speaking without pressure. I also practiced by recording myself. I would use my phone or computer to record my voice. I would speak for 1 or 2 minutes and then listen to the recording. At first, I didn't like how I sounded, but over time, I became more comfortable with my voice. Listening to the recording helped me notice mistakes and areas where I could improve. It gave me a chance to correct myself and keep improving. You do not need anyone else to practice speaking English. You can do it alone, in your own time, and at your own pace. It doesn't matter if you do not have a speaking partner right now. You can still practice and get better. The key is to keep speaking. The more you speak, the better you get. And you can practice anywhere, anytime. I also practiced by reading out loud. I would take a book or article and read it out loud. It helped me with my pronunciation, rhythm, and speaking speed. I would try to sound like the speaker in a podcast or movie. I would copy their tone and emotion. This helped me speak more naturally, like a native speaker. All of these activities helped me become more fluent in English. They built my confidence. They made me feel comfortable speaking. And the best part is, you can do them too. You do not need anyone else. You can practice on your own, in your own space. I know it might feel strange at first, but you will get used to it. Speaking alone at first might seem difficult or awkward, but over time, it will become a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you will speak more easily. You will feel more confident. So, don't worry if you don't have a partner to practice with. You can still improve your speaking skills. Shadowing, talking to yourself, storytelling, and recording yourself are all great ways to practice. You can do them every day, anywhere, at any time. And remember, speaking is a skill that gets better with practice. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and you will improve faster than you think. When I was in school, I thought mistakes were bad. If I made a mistake, I felt like I was failing. But when I started learning English, I realized that mistakes are actually very important. In real life, mistakes are not something to be afraid of. They are a way to learn. Every time I made a mistake, I could see where I needed to improve, and that helped me get better. I remember the first time I recorded myself speaking in English. It felt strange. When I listened to the recording, I heard many mistakes. I said words wrong, I made grammar mistakes, and I didn't speak clearly. At first, I felt embarrassed. But then I realized something important. These mistakes were helping me learn. They showed me what I needed to work on. They told me where I could improve. I decided to listen to my recordings every day. I didn't just listen to the good parts, I listened to the mistakes too. I paid attention to where I went wrong. When I heard a mistake, I would stop the recording and think about how I could fix it. Then I would try again. I would speak the same sentence, but this time I would try to say it correctly. At first, I didn't see big changes, but little by little, I started to notice that my English was getting better. I made fewer mistakes, and I spoke more clearly. I stopped trying to make everything perfect. I learned that making mistakes was not bad. In fact, it was the best way to learn. I also learned that it was important not to be afraid of mistakes. If I tried to avoid mistakes, I wouldn't improve. But when I accepted mistakes as part of the learning process, I started to make real progress. The more I spoke, the more mistakes I made. But every mistake taught me something new. For example, I learned the right way to pronounce words, how to use tenses correctly, and how to build better sentences. Even if I made the same mistake many times, I didn't give up. I knew that every mistake was a chance to get better. I also noticed that when I was speaking with other people, I made mistakes too. At first, I felt nervous when I made a mistake in front of someone else. But then I realized that people don't mind if you make a mistake. They care more about you trying to speak. Most people want to help you, not judge you. So, I started speaking more. I made mistakes, but I kept speaking. And every time I made a mistake, I learned something new. The key was to focus on small improvements every day. I didn't try to become perfect overnight. I didn't try to be perfect at every sentence. Instead, I focused on getting a little better every time. This way, I wasn't worried about making big mistakes. I just worried about making small improvements. If you want to improve your English, it's important to remember this. Mistakes are your friends. They help you learn. They help you grow. If you are not making mistakes, you are not trying hard enough. You are not pushing yourself to improve. So, do not be afraid of making mistakes. Embrace them. Learn from them. In the beginning, it can be hard to accept mistakes. It can feel like failure. But once you understand that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, you will start to see them differently. You will see them as opportunities to get better. I also started to enjoy making mistakes. When I made a mistake, I didn't feel bad anymore. I would laugh at myself, and then I would try again. Every time I made a mistake and fixed it, I felt proud. I felt like I was getting closer to my goal. One thing I did was keep a list of my most common mistakes. Every time I made a mistake, I wrote it down. Then, I looked at the list and tried to understand why I made the mistake. Once I understood the mistake, I worked on fixing it. Writing down my mistakes helped me learn faster. Another way I learned from my mistakes was by asking for feedback. When I spoke with someone, I would ask them, "Did I say this right?" Or, "Is there a better way to say this?" Getting feedback from others helped me see my mistakes and learn the right way to speak. I also started listening to native speakers more. When I heard someone speak correctly, I would think, that's how it should sound. Then I would try to copy them. I would practice speaking like them, and that helped me fix my mistakes. Sometimes I made the same mistakes over and over again, but that's okay. The important thing is to keep trying. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you will make, and the better your English will become. Remember, mistakes are a part of learning. Don't be afraid of them. Learn from them. Use them to grow. Every time you make a mistake, you are one step closer to being fluent in English. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You are learning, and that's what matters most. So if you are making mistakes, don't worry. Celebrate them. They are your best teachers. Keep learning from them, and you will see improvement. One day, you will look back and realize how far you've come, and all the mistakes you made will have helped you get there. Our brains are funny. They love to take the easy way out. If you always use your native language, your brain will not work hard to learn English. It likes to stay in the comfort zone of the language you already know. This means that your brain may not make as much effort to understand or remember English words. It's like when you are at home and everything is easy and comfortable. But if you want to grow and improve, you need to push yourself a little. So, I decided to make small changes to make my brain work harder. One of the first things I did was change the language on my phone to English. At first, this was a bit hard. I didn't understand everything, and I had to figure out how to use my phone in a new language. But this was great. My brain had to work harder to understand what was happening. Every time I unlocked my phone, I saw English words, and slowly, I started to recognize them. I also put labels on things in my house. I wrote the names of objects in English and stuck them on the things around me. For example, I put a label on the door that said door, a label on the window that said window, and a label on the refrigerator that said fridge. At first, I didn't understand all the words, but as I looked at them every day, I began to remember them. Every time I saw a label, my brain had to think about it and try to remember the English word. Another thing I did was start writing my to-do lists in English. Before, I would write everything in my native language, but now I would write things like buy milk, call mom, and study English in English. This made my brain work even harder. I had to think in English while making my list. Even if I wasn't speaking or listening, my brain was still thinking in English. I also started reading simple things in English. I read short articles, books, and even social media posts in English. At first, I didn't understand everything, and that was okay. My brain was learning, even if I didn't notice it. I read things that were easy for me to understand, and little by little, I started reading more difficult things. The more I read, the more my brain began to understand the language. It started to get used to the way English works. Another change I made was to listen to English whenever I could. I listened to music, podcasts, and videos in English. I tried to listen even when I was doing something else, like cooking or cleaning. At first, I didn't understand everything, but my brain was working. I didn't stop listening just because I didn't understand. I kept going, and over time, I began to understand more and more. By making these small changes, I created an English environment around me. This helped my brain get better at English. My brain had no choice but to work harder. It was like I was giving my brain a little push to help it learn. I didn't make these changes all at once. I started with 1 or 2 small steps, and then I added more as I went along. Each small step helped me build an English environment that was always around me. Creating an English environment is very important. If you always speak your native language, your brain will not try hard enough to learn English. But if you start making little changes, your brain will begin to work harder. It will begin to recognize English words and start thinking in English. The more you do this, the easier it will be to learn and remember new words. It's also important to remember that your brain will try to take shortcuts. It likes to use the language you already know. But if you want to learn English, you need to make your brain work. Don't let it be lazy. By creating an English environment, you are giving your brain the chance to learn and grow. The key is to make these changes part of your everyday life. The more you do, the more your brain will learn. It's like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Every little step you take will help your brain become better at understanding and using English. At first, it may feel difficult, but over time your brain will start to get used to it, and learning will become easier. You don't need to make big changes all at once. Start with small steps. Change your phone language to English. Label things in your house, or write your to-do lists in English. These are simple things you can do every day. The more you do, the more your brain will learn. It will become easier, and before you know it, you will be thinking and speaking in English without even trying. It's all about making your brain work for you. Give it the challenge of learning a new language. The more effort you put in, the more your brain will adapt, and the faster you will learn. Create an English environment around you, and soon you will see the results. So, don't let your brain be lazy. Make it work. Push yourself to learn and practice every day. Your brain will thank you for it, and your English will improve faster than you think. My dear students, today we learned some very important secrets about learning English faster. Teachers guide you, but real fluency comes from daily practice. You need to put in the effort every day, and that's how you'll really improve. Focus on listening and speaking, not just grammar and reading. Listening to real English and speaking as much as possible will help you learn faster. It's more important than just memorizing grammar rules or reading textbooks. Use repetition wisely and practice speaking, even alone. Repetition helps you remember things better, and practicing speaking, even by yourself, will make a big difference. Celebrate your mistakes, because they help you grow. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. They are part of learning. Each mistake is an opportunity to improve. Create a world around you where English is everywhere. Surround yourself with English as much as possible so your brain starts thinking in English. Change the language on your phone, label things in your house, and listen to English every day. If you use these tips, I promise your English will improve faster than you ever imagined. And before you go, don't forget to join our Telegram group to find speaking partners and practice together. The link is in the description. Also, share this video with your friends and comment below. Which secret surprised you the most today? I love reading your comments. Remember, learning English is a journey. Be patient, be brave, and keep moving forward. You are doing an amazing job, and I'm so proud of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more lessons. See you tomorrow, and keep shining, my English stars.